Poor fella. Let's see if we can't get you fixed up. Good afternoon, everybody. 8th August, about 4:15 or so, back over at the garage this afternoon to do some work. Been the first time that I've really been over since I got everything painted over here, the doors and the boot lid. So you can see, hopefully anyway in the light, all the dings and dents and everything now that the paint is rather reflective. Real good shot there on the boot lid. Couple runs, and I don't know if you can see or if it's going to show up, but a lot of pock marks, fish eyes in the paint. I did talk to SPI about that. Not that big of a deal on the epoxy. The epoxy is doing its job. They did not recommend sanding it down to bare metal or anything like that, and shooting it again. Just something to figure out what's going on there, so it doesn't happen to me when the paint becomes more important. So I got all those dents. I'm going to work on the front valance this morning or this afternoon, and try to get this up to speed. Obviously, I got some holes here to correct, various dings and dents as you would expect being in the bottom of the car, and then these support pieces. I worked on this a while ago. These support pieces are all pocked up pretty good too. And in support of that, I bought myself a new hammer and dolly set. This is a Martin Tools set. A kit that I picked up on eBay from Auto Body Tool Mart. I think that's the name of them. Not cheap, but show you some differences here. So this is my good old trusty Harbor Freight stuff. So this is the Martin tool. You can see the head size difference there between these two tools. Obviously a lot more surface area to strike with on the bumping hammer of the Martins. And also, if you look at the tips, you can see that the Martin tip, this is a picking hammer for taking out high spots and low spots, the small stuff. You can see that the Martin on the top there is much less sharp and pointy, a little bit more finesse there. And then one dolly, for example, these are the utility dollies. You can see on the left there is the Martin one, and on the right is the Harbor Freight one. The Harbor Freight one is essentially symmetrical, so you've really only got one unique shape per side, where the Martin one is not symmetrical, so I've got unique bends and radiuses all over the place. Turn it over, you can see kind of a similar thing. Another important thing to point out here is that this entire Martin dolly is usable, whereas the Harbor Freight one, because of all the paint and everything, is not. So these Martin dollies are really nice. Everything's in really good shape, obviously, but again, you know, you get what you pay for. This set was a couple $100 here, so you know, is it a waste of money? Yeah, maybe for me, because I'm probably going to use this a couple times. However, you know, for stuff like this is the stuff that's going to show. I would like to have my ability, what's holding me back, and not my tools. So I decided to go ahead and invest some money in tools that are probably going to last me the rest of my life. Hopefully I'll have an opportunity to use them again. So anyway, that's the plan. Not real aggressive today, but try and get this front valance fixed and get some repair patches welded in on the supports and all that kind of stuff, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I cut the bottom of the bracket off. As you can see there, I got it clamped in temporarily. So that's the bottom of the bracket. Very thin here, very easy to bend, so it was hard to keep the shape. Made a little paper template just by trying to, you know, trace it over, and then cut out the metal here. It's about 16 gauge or so. It's gonna be a little hokey. I don't really care what this looks like. I just want it to be functional and provide support. So probably what I'm gonna do is tack it onto the right there, weld wise, and then just kind of make the piece fit and get it flush on the bottom here, and get that as close and lined up as I can. And just make it structurally sound. Again, I'm not worried cosmetically here. This is probably one of the few, if not the only, pieces off the black car that's in worse shape than Darcy. So I can't really steal anything from the black car for this. But yeah, so I'm just going to try to make it work here and not worry about it too much. So I got the whole valance up here on the welding table, as you can see. And the problem is again, I don't remember what I struggled with the last time, but it's a complicated piece with a bunch of different curves and all that. You know, God forbid you just put a straight old bracket in here. So I'm going to have to kind of hold it on the piece so it's fitted flat down here where it's going to get tack welded, and then I'm just going to kind of hold it with my hands and then tack the piece together, and hopefully I can get enough in there and then be able to go from there. So it's obviously tacked at the top, and then it just kind of hangs there. So I'm just going to work my way around with some weld, and hopefully it'll work out for me. That's better. It's kind of a big gap there on the right, so I'm just going to fill that in though, and call it good. It's close enough. Like I said, this on the inside, I'm not really all that concerned, so I'll finish this weld up and then move on. All right, about 10 to 7 or so. These supports are done. Took a little bit longer than I was hoping, but I'm happy with the way they came out. So those all kind of fit in there. They're kind of purpose fit. Definitely wouldn't be able to take this to another car and smack it right in there. But now I've got to worry about the cancer here and on the other side there. And my concern is that it pretty much goes almost all the way down into the lip here. So I'm going to be cutting probably the entire, an entire square piece here. So again, I've got a curve to worry about and then a sharp break. And I can use the metal brake to take care of that for me, but this is going to be maybe a little bit trickier to cut this piece of metal out, but there's a lot of cancer around here. So I want to go back to get clean metal, cut it out, and then go from there. The valance, as you would suspect, because it's a regular body panel, is 20 gauge. So I've got some scrap metal there. I think this is the old sill off the black car. I'll use some of that or something like that to get these pieces at least fit up. So I got that big hunk of metal cut out there. This is the right-hand side. And I stole the piece of metal from the sill. But if you can see, you've got a little bit of a curve to that. And when I say a curve, I mean like this, not just like this. So probably if you've been doing body work for more than about 15 or 20 minutes, you understand this. But as to somebody that's just kind of figuring this stuff out and coming across it, what you can do is use your anvils that you've got from your various stuff with the various correct curve, and then put the metal piece on top like that and use it as a curve. Gives us a curve. So I just wanted to point that out. You might ask, hey, why are you still using all your old stuff if you got all that nice new stuff over there? And it's simply because this is hack work as far as I'm concerned right now, and not finesse work, and I don't need nice new hammers to be able to get where I need to go with this stuff. So I got this piece kind of sort of fitted. It's obviously not that great, but what I'm going to do is tack it anyway, and then start metal working it as I kind of weld it in there. I've tried to do this in the past. We'll see how it goes. Again, pretty complex shape here. Every time I try to get the curve going this way, it straightens out the curve going this way. So I'm hoping that if I can hold it in one particular spot by welding it, then I can inform it and work it as I go along with hammer and dolly. So that's what we're going to try to do here. about 8:15 or so, time for me to get out of here. So I got these brackets done. Happy with the way those came out. Again, they're not, they wouldn't go on another car, but they're not too bad. Got this one hole patched and repaired. You saw me do that. Still a little bit of cleanup with the flap disc, the little mini flap disc I'll use there, but it's a lot better looking than that. So all in all, not as far as I wanted to get, but still a pretty good night. So a lot of dings and dents and everything you can see in this, as I'm sure everybody's is like that. That's actually driven the car at all, or unless you've restored it, of course. But otherwise, that's it for me tonight. I will be back over here this weekend at some point to get some more work done. I can just see all the dings and dents staring me in the face on the boot lid and all that stuff over there, and the doors, nasty. Anyway, so as usual, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, and thanks for subscribing. I had a gentleman contact me from the British Car Club of Manitoba yesterday, day before, requesting to reprint one of my tech articles from the blog about retorquing fasteners that I took from the Navy, the requirements that the Navy uses for their warships. So I was very happy and honored to allow him to reprint that article in his newsletter, and he sent me a copy of it today. So that was pretty cool, pretty awesome. So I'll put a link in the description or somewhere to that particular article, but if you have questions about torquing and retorquing and how all that stuff works, I got a halfway decent tech article on that, or you can just search for it on the blog. But anyways, hope you have a good rest of your evening, have a good rest of your week, and I will see you sometime this weekend. Cheers.